Hey guys, Mike here from TA Outdoors. Thanks very much for clicking on this video. I'm about to go camping in the woods with a canvas military poncho that was designed in the 1970s. But before I do, I just want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor for this video, which is Squarespace. As you guys know, I'm looking at designing a website and building the brand. TA Outdoors is getting much bigger. I want to be able to build my brand and have a platform where I can share my stories with you. I have no knowledge of website development and coding and things like that, but thankfully Squarespace makes it really easy. It's really user-friendly. At the moment, I'm only at the early stages of the development of my website. So for example, I've just done the background banner image and I'm working on the drop-down menus at the top. And so far, so good. I'm finding it very easy and user-friendly. Thankfully, Squarespace makes it nice and simple with its website development tools. It's an all-in-one platform. There's no plugins, no updates or patches. So if you guys want to share your stories and document your adventures, Squarespace are offering you, my subscribers, a free trial and 10% off your first purchase. All you need to do is go to www.squarespace.com/TA Outdoors and start building your website today. What I want to know from you guys is, what would you like to see on my website? Do you want to see more kind of blog posts and maybe behind the scenes stuff, or would you rather see more bushcraft related topics and kind of DIY things and little how-to articles? I don't know, let me know guys. It'd be interesting to know what you'd like to see on my website. At the moment my website's not public because I'm still designing it and putting it together, but I'm hoping to bring you guys things like merchandise and clothing and everything like that. So hopefully you can follow me on this journey of building the brand of TA Outdoors. Guys, if you're looking to build your website, do head to www.squarespace.com/TA Outdoors, and it really helps support my channel. So without further ado, let's go camping. So I've found a nice opening in this coniferous woodland. It's very dense. I've come here before, I have done some camps here before. I am late in the evening, it's about 6 PM now. Because it's early spring, I've only got about 2 more hours of light left, maybe 2.5. So I need to set up my tent, which is on the bottom of the backpack here. Just get base camp set up, and then I can worry about having a fire, cooking some food, and just enjoying time in the woodlands. So I've not brought my day pack with me today, and that's because I've obviously got a slightly larger tent. With it being the canvas tent, it is a bit heavier. And also I've got a larger sleeping bag in the pack, and that's because temperatures are dropping down to about 5 or 6 degrees tonight, which is not freezing, but it's a little bit frustrating because it should be easily 12 degrees, 11, 12 degrees at night. So we are quite cold at this time of year. So I've gone for the bigger pack. I've got with me on the front the Alex Steel hatchet that I forged, my custom hatchet that I forged with Alex Steel. Love using this thing, gonna try and use it as much as I can. My saw, again, I don't really need this is the Boreal 21. I don't need it as much, but it's just, you know, I could use a little hand saw, but it's just the speed of processing the wood down. On the bottom of the pack here, this is my Polish Lavvu, which is the military poncho tent. And I do like this pack because there's loads of straps on the outside which do help. So that's the poncho tent itself, but it's actually 2 ponchos, 2 Polish military ponchos buttoned together. What I'm going to do is just show you what they look like and then set it up as a tent. I've made a simple kind of paracord carry handle here with a quick release loop. So I always leave this knot tied up. There's my loop, and I just pull this quick release through, and that way this slides off. I can loosen this by just pulling the tab here, and then I can slide that off. Now this, I don't want to lose this, because this, in a survival situation, I could use this for bow drill cordage or anything like that, just any cordage, but I wrap this up and keep this in my pocket because I don't want to lose it. Being paracord and green on the moss, it can be easily lost. This is a ground sheet that I keep rolled up in it. Really cheap kind of tarp, really cheap tarp, but it helps us just to keep the ground underneath me a little bit more waterproof. Here's the 2 separate ponchos. I'm through one arm sleeve here. I could lift this up just to get a bit more arm movement because it's a bit restricting down here. So I can lift that up like that. It would reduce the actual point of the poncho ability and the waterproofness. Drawstring up here. Where is it? There. This paracord actually hangs inside of the tent, but it can be used to draw the hood around you like this. So let's button up the hood. I feel like little Red Riding Hood, but in green. Tell you what though, it's warm. It is seriously warm. A little bit out of shape at the moment because I've used the top as a ridge pole for my tent. So this is it. This is the Poncho tent. As you can see, I haven't buttoned it all the way, but I can button it all the way down. It's quite long. Just about touches the floor with me. So if you're 6 foot, around 6 foot, you would be fine in this. To me, it's like a big duvet, big blanket. The armholes are quite low. But when I do that, it's a bit more dress-like. It feels really good. It feels really tough, that tough canvas material, because it's military grade, Polish military. It's gonna last, it's very durable. So this is it. This is one half of the poncho. If I pull the arms down, it can completely cover me. And I would certainly keep out the wind. This can be set up on its own as half a shelter. Just this one poncho can be half a shelter. It will be like a teepee, but one half open, and I will do that more in the summer. However, the traditional Polish Lavvu, which I've been using a lot over the winter months with the little G stove as well, is 2 of these buttoned together, and I'll show you how they button together. Usually you start from the hoods. Get the other one. Find the hood, lay it right next to it. You can already see that tent shape already. And then I start buttoning from the hood. So you find there's the hood there, and it's got a reinforced point where the centre pole would go. So I've got one hood there, one hood here. Now there's buttons and flaps, and this is not really a tutorial on how to do it up, but I'll just show you the first button and what I do. So I simply pass one button through, so one button through like that. Then this extra flap goes over the top, and that's what kind of rain seals it, and that's why it doubles over the buttons. Then I'm going to do that all the way along one side. So I've buttoned it back up, which did take quite a while because it is a little bit of a fiddly job. Usually now I'd put a centre pole in the middle of the tent, and that would just act as a support to prop the whole tent up. It's great, it's easy. I know the measurement already. I keep the paracord length for what I know to make that centre pole. However, it does obviously restrict the space inside, and it's quite limited in there anyway. So I'm going to try a little bit of a different setup today. So what I've done is I've got a tripod set up, used some natural tree root cordage from the Scots pine tree. Obviously I didn't excavate the whole roots from all the trees because it would obviously fall down and destabilise the tree. So just harvested a few roots, and if you remember, obviously I've got paracord in my bag. I'm just trying to show you guys different ways of using the environment. But if you remember that paracord that I used to tie up the tent, to wrap it up where I carry the handle, that's where this now comes in handy. So because the tip of the tent is actually fairly thick anyway, I can ball that up. Normally I'd stuff some material in there, but I can ball that up anyway. What I'm going to do is just tie a simple slip knot on one end of my paracord. I've already got a loop on the other end, which is okay. I'll probably undo it, but it doesn't matter. Bunch it up, scrunch it up like that. Wrap that around. Keep it near the top. I want to keep it all waterproof. And cinch that down really tight. I don't want that coming loose, so I'm going to just use that tag end to close it off. Like that. Now I can raise and lower the tent with this cord, and I could tie it to the top of the tripod. So I didn't bring the metal pegs with me for this trip, going a bit more bushcrafty, and I've just snapped up some sticks. I'm going to stake the tent out first and then raise it up on the tripod. So I love this sort of shelter. It's so versatile. It really is literally just two canvas ponchos buttoned together. And this time I've just strung it up with some paracord, made a little makeshift tripod, and it does the job. You know, it's fairly big for someone like me who's really small. I'm happy in that sort of shelter, to be honest. This was rolled up inside the Lavvu, which I've shown in previous videos. It's basically a half. If you imagine the footprint of the Lavvu in there, it's half of that footprint that I cut on a cheap ground sheet just to keep the moisture off my inflatable mattress, really. And there we go. Loads of space to sleep inside for me. That's the mattress, sleeping pad. Fits in there an absolute treat. Actually brought my Mountain Warehouse, the Everest Extreme bag, which is my winter bag basically. I'm probably going to be too hot in this bag, but it's fine because I know it's dropping down the temperatures tonight, and this is not a lightweight backpacking trip, guys. It's not a lightweight backpacking trip. This is just a single overnighter. And I got here at, well, 5:30 PM, so it's a short one, which is why I don't mind carrying heavier, bigger gear. I'd rather for a more comfortable night. But it's a great bag, this, so I am enjoying it. Just let it puff out. So base camp is set up. I'm pretty happy with it. It's not perfect, I know, but I only had a few hours. Probably got another hour left of sunlight. Yeah, hour left of sunlight. Now I need to process some firewood. I don't need a huge fire tonight, but I'm going to go process some firewood and get some food on the go. This was that tree that was rotten. It was falling down earlier, and I'd used the top part of it up here, top part, to make the tripod for the tent. It's definitely rotten because you can see, you guys can see that at the bottom there. That's why it's blown down in the wind here. It's such a dense forest. So that end is pretty unusable, but probably about a foot in, I reckon will be okay for firewood. Let's have a look. You can even see it. That is really resinous. You guys see that? Look at the pink. That resin in there. The bottom half's really punky, and to be honest, doesn't smell too sweet or sappy, but that side there, and it's starting to rot a little bit at the top, but that's nice and white, nice and dry. Generally, I find, you know, the whiter this area is, the drier the wood. I know it's a fairly basic tip, but if you guys can find really white wood, that's usually quite well. That should be fine for a fire, and it's dry. It's a soft wood, Scots pine. You can tell that just by digging your nail into it, your fingernail. I know it's a softwood anyway, pine, but just by digging my fingernail in, it's leaving a dent, which tells me that it's softwood. And the grain structure on it, you can see it there. It's really sort of wide grain, not good for carving at all. Hasn't got that compact grain that the hardwoods do. And you can see the sort of rings, the age rings of the tree really easily there. Each ring represents 1 year of growth. You can see the cambium layer very easily on these Scots pines. And you can just about see the pith in there. So this whole log will probably be enough, definitely, to get some fire going and cook some food. This is not the way I normally chop wood, but because the ground's so soft and I don't have a chopping block, I'm just going to rest it against that. This is such a short hatchet, it's seriously dangerous if I miss. So keeping my legs nice and wide apart, I'm using this log as a shock absorber, and I'm going to hit this little log about there. Ideally I'd like this to be a bit longer, but I'm going to hit it near the top there. There you go. I only need the first few to split, and then the fire should do the rest. It's damp there, but I don't trust having a fire on it, so I've had to dig around, and I used these before in this woodland, hence why I found them again. Some rocks, just to raise the fire up a bit, because I want to protect that forest floor. Even though it's soaking wet, I owe it to the forest to protect it. So we're going to make a little, there we go, just to protect it a little bit. Cool. So I've boosted the ice on the camera so it looks really light, but it's now 8 o'clock at night and the sun has set. But I've just boosted the camera for you guys so you can see lignum stela. I wouldn't normally do this onto rocks because if my blade slips it's going to blunt on the rocks, but I know when to stop doing it, so I'm okay with that. That's a pheasant, I think. I'll split a load of wood up here as well. The old teepee going. don't need the saw anymore. Okay guys, as you can tell, it's now got dark pretty quick. I'm just letting the fire burn down a bit. Got my grill here and this canvas pouch made for me by Tim, my mate Tim, Blue Angelica Bushcraft. And because the rocks are raising the fire off the ground, normally I'd sit the grill flat like that on the fire, but because the rocks are raising it up, this grill has legs and it does warp. It's a cheap grill. I'll pop a link to it. And Amazon, I got mine on Amazon, I paid for this. And you can see it's fairly warped, but because of those legs, it means it can sit above the fire like this, which is dead handy when you've got a fire that's sort of raised on rocks. It just makes it still sort of work, really. So I'll let that burn down, and then I will put a steak on it, because that's what we're having tonight. Nice and simple, because I obviously didn't get here till late afternoon, almost early evening. We'll put a steak on there. But I'm going to heat the grill up first. Let that sizzle away. So peaceful. You do tell you what I hear, because this woodland, being a coniferous woodland, is actually a bit devoid of fauna, really. There's not much kind of wildlife around. There's birds at the moment, but that's because we're springtime and it's, you know, it's their sort of nesting time. We're right on their nesting time. But what you do get is deer. I get quite a lot of deer, fallow deer here. I've seen some massive fallow deer, caught them on the trail cam, which I haven't bought for a while here, and also roe deer. There's an albino roe deer, which is really quite rare. Oh, she's hot. Yeah, there's an albino roe deer around, which I've not seen for a long time. But I'm going to pause on that, guys, because my steak is looking good. Cooked a little bit too much, but she's cooked. Get my head torch out in a minute. I've got a new camera light, which, as you can see, is pretty bright and working well. But this is looking very good. I bring steak a lot because it's simple to cook, guys. I know it's repetitive, but in the videos, but it's very simple to cook. It's slightly more well done than I'd prefer. A bit more medium rare, that one. But I'm not complaining. Yeah, good. Steak was lovely, very nice. I'm on some of Jenny's beers still. Subscriber Jenny. Still working away, Jenny. Beavertown Neck Oil Session IPA. Nice and hoppy. It's 9 o'clock now. It's not pitch black, but the little birds have stopped singing, which is generally a sign of the night time for me. So the owls will usually come in in this woodland in about an hour and a half. 9:30, 10 o'clock. You hear the owls, and it's lovely hearing them swooping through these. You can hear them swooping through the forest as they call out. Yeah, and then throughout the night I do hear noises generally. Probably foxes, small mammals, foxes, deer. Just, it's fairly devoid of life at the moment, the woodland. But yeah, happy with my setup, with the tent, happy with the fire. I don't need it for heat at all, which is why I've put it quite far from the tent itself, because I'm fairly warm on it. I'm in a wool shirt and I've got almost pretty much winter gear in there, so I don't need the fire for warmth. It's just nice to have one. Life is very good at the moment. Everything's going super well. The channel is growing really fast, thanks to you guys for subscribing. And yeah, it's all. The last few months have been crazy busy, but crazy busy in a good way. My Instagram is doing super well. It's growing so fast. I think I'm on like 95,000 followers on Instagram, and I think when I hit 100,000, I'm gonna do a giveaway. But it's not, rather than be something like some new gear, I'm gonna give away something that I've used in the videos. So it's just part of my gear. I'm not sure what it's gonna be yet, but I'm definitely gonna do a giveaway on Instagram when I hit 100,000 followers. So if you guys are not following me on Instagram, get over there, TA Outdoor Official, and yeah, hopefully you might be able to win something. But I'm looking forward to hitting that milestone. It's been fun. I like the platform. And obviously, yeah, the YouTube coming up. It'd be nice to get 500,000 this year, 500,000 subscribers. That would be super cool. This time last year, I wasn't even on 100,000 yet. So it's cool. Things are going really well. Thank you guys. Just staring at the fire as you do. I'm also going to be doing some overnighters with Jax soon. He's not done a full overnighter in the woods with me yet, so I wanted to wait until he was about 2 years old, so he's used to the outdoors and he's better trained and things like that. So yeah, hoping to bring him more on overnighters with me, so that should be really cool. Add a new dimension to the videos anyway, and I'm sure he'll love it. It'll probably be fairly worrying on the first one. Just always, you know, I'll probably camp by close to home, just in case things go wrong. And that way I can get him back home if I need to, if things do go wrong. And then if he really enjoys it and we get on well out here, and it goes well and smoothly, then yeah, I'll be doing some more with him. Bushcraft show's coming up soon, guys. Be great to meet you. It's on the 26th to 28th of May. Really looking forward to seeing some of you guys there. They have offered my subscribers a discount. It'd be super cool to meet some of you. I know it's going to be a really good show. They've got lots of cool stuff on there. Fire lighting stuff, survival stuff. They've got classes, expert speakers, canoeing things, everything. And evening entertainment, all sorts of cool stuff. So loving using the hatchet that I forged with Alec. Really enjoying using that. It's small, but it's heavy. I really like using it. I will do a kind of full review rundown of it after a few more uses. I think I want to keep using it first before I let you guys know how I really feel about it, but at the moment it's all positive. Probably needs a bit of a sharpen soon. I've dinged it a few times, but other than that it's holding the edge pretty well. Owls, can you hear the owls? I don't know why I'm whispering. That's the owls I was saying about. Bang on time, told you. I hope you guys heard that, the owls. Bang on 9:20. I said that about 9:30 they come on in this woodland, the owls. So it's packed in like this, I've showed this before. Nice and small. Pull it up. And that is the candle head there. That's how much is left of the candle. There's a spring underneath which pushes the candle up so it always stays the same height. You can then slide the glass down. It's a little bit fiddly, but like that. That's the glass slid down, which gives you access to the wick, which you light. Like that. And then you simply slide the glass up, which controls the flame, keeps it all consistent, make sure it's level. And there, if I turn that down, and there is a nice ambient light with what's left of the candle there. I think these are like 9-hour burns, these ones, so I'm still going strong. It's got a little clip there, I love it. It's just, this bit all stays cold at the bottom as well. This top plate gets very hot. The plate just there, that gets very hot because that's where the candle, obviously the heat goes. But just a great little thing to, That's cool. There's a bit of paracord here which comes off the Lavvu anyway. And it hangs my candle pretty nicely. A little bit close to my face, but easy enough. So this is my flint and steel kit, where I keep my flint, steel, a little bit of jute twine in there as well, which I put in my fire lighting pouch. What I've done is got some bicycle kind of inner tube here, put it around, and that stores my lighter on top, just so you can see. So that's kind of I always have a lighter with me, guys, just in case. It'd be stupid to not have a lighter with you. So that's flint and steel fire lighting. And then in that, this was my recent pouch that I unboxed by Brian, my friend Brian at Journeyman Handcraft. He sent me these. So this is my fire pouch, and in this I have this little kind of Hessian sack, which is full of, wait for it, some limpet shells for the bow drill as a bearing block to hold on, and some flint. So I keep the flint in there because it bounces around a lot if it's loose. So keep that in that little pouch there. The other part of this pouch has my flint striker, the one I forged with Alec. A bit of an Alec still overnight of this, all the gear I've got from Alec. So flint striker, that goes in there. Bow drill stuff and flint, and then my fire kit, another flint striker, a bit more jute twine in there as well as natural tinder, and that all sits in this pouch, just so you guys know what I store in there. That's the fire pouch. The other pouch, which is slightly bigger, which Brian gave me, stores all my paracord, some hanks of paracord, and also my axe loop, which I wear on my belt when I'm walking around doing a lot of axe work. Just thought I'd show you guys those. I also, in addition, the reason I carry bigger bags sometimes, guys, is I do have lenses, camera gear, a lot of camera gear I take, and I'll do a video on it at some point because I do a lot of camera gear. So there's a bigger lens which I take. Again, I put my lenses in bubble wrap because it's going to get bashed around in the bag inevitably, so it's handy to just wrap them in bubble wrap so they don't get banged about as much. Another lens there as well, so that's 2 extra lenses on top of the lens that is on the camera here, the microphone, the light. There's a lot of it. You'll only understand really if you film, if you go camping and film at the same time. There's a lot of extra gear that is brought on these trips. Oh, I nearly forgot my beer. I get a lot of questions about water and what do I do for water. So, oh, I just definitely swallowed a bug. So, good question to those that asked. I take with me, this is I think 750 millilitres, the Osprey Pattern 58, basically the British Army issue water bottle. I take this with me generally because it's lighter than taking another stainless steel cup, but I also have a stainless steel litre cup with a nesting cup as well. So sorry, stainless steel bottle. So that's a litre and 3/4 almost of water. That's what I take for my overnighters generally, just because I'm doing a lot of soaring work and I do get quite thirsty, so it's always good to stay hydrated. On the longer trips where I'm doing multiple day ones, generally I'll try and find a water source and boil it up, or I will have a hydration bladder in the backpack, which again I don't show all the time, but things like my mountain trip when I did my 3-day or 5-day was it mountain trip, I can't remember now, 4 or 5 days, I think it was 5 days. I'll pop a link to it somewhere up here. That I had the hydration bladder, and I filled that hydration bladder up via boiling water from streams and rivers and things like that. Where I am here at the moment, which is the south of England, the particular woodland that I'm in, there is no fresh water source, so I have to bring what I can, and that's it. There's no fresh water source nearby at all for miles. So yeah, that's answering your questions for those about the water situation and what I do. I'll always research an area. If it's a new area, I'll always research to see if there's a river nearby, just to make sure. The problem we have with the UK is there's so much farming and agricultural land going around in the rivers that the chemicals could get into that water quite easily, and even boiling it and stuff like that, I do have concerns as to those chemicals going in my body, so always aware of it. But one of the other things that I keep in my backpack, which I don't think I've ever shown in a video before, but I bring it with me all the time, and I often do use it, and that is my journal, my bushcraft journal, or yeah, it's a journal really. I use it as a kind of source for recording information and things that I learn from nature, and I also use it as a diary where I write on overnighters, mostly like this, where I just write my feelings and things like that, which I don't show on camera at all, but I keep it and I write in it. And this is my bushcraft journal here, leather one, little kind of ship's wheel there, and an anchor. I liked it because it was a fishing-y style one, only small. It's got that sort of yellow parchment paper. I think I got this online somewhere, I can't remember now. I've had it quite a few years. But I'll show you how you can make your own one of these, a much more basic, rudimentary one, but I'll show you how you can make one at some point. But I won't go into the private stuff in here, but I'll show you like a few things that I do. So things like that, you can see that, like pot hanger setups that I've kind of put in my mind and learnt over time, and put these in the book, and just to put a little description about the pot hanger setup and how to set it up, diagrams as well. I like the old parchment paper here, but it is difficult to write in pencil, so you need one of those special arty pencils, so I go over it in pen sometimes. And then what else have we got? My cooking crane in the bushcraft camp. That was how I set it up. That's kind of, you can tell how old this is, but yeah, that was my cooking crane at the bushcraft camp, and just little diagram to remind me how I did it. Again, if you want to watch that, it's in Camp Update 7 or something like that. That one's been done in pencil, so you can't really see it. That's one of my tarp setups, the low tarp, the stealth tarp profile one. And then yeah, towards the back is more of my journal stuff, which is the private things that go on in life. But yeah, so that's just my bushcraft journal. That's an extra thing that I take with me. I highly recommend you guys, if you don't have a journal, I highly recommend taking one, even if it's just a notepad. You know, take one with you on your camping expeditions, because there's always something you can write, and it gives you things to do at night, and especially in the winter, when it's kind of dark at 4 o'clock. Over here in the particular part of the northern hemisphere that I'm in, it's dark at 4 o'clock. In the winter, definitely get a journal or a book or something and have a read, because it's great to be able to get your feelings down. Even if you have found like a plant or like a insect or something like that, and you remember it in your mind, just draw it out, sketch it out, and then go back home and you can learn about that later. How's the old lignum steel day? This is one of my favourite projects that I made with Alex steel. Look how that lignum vitae or lignum vitae scales have punched out now. They're nothing like the handles when I first finished it with Alec. Completely changed the colour. Really cool. You can see I've battered the knife. It's had some good use. Big old sabre grind on it. It needs a sharpen. It's 10:30. And I'm going to call it a night, people. It's warm. It's really warm. Is it bad that I don't need a wee? I usually need a wee by now. Slightly concerned. But I'm not going. I'm going to hold it. And probably regret it and want to go in the night. Rather than bring a pillow with me. I've got my jacket that I was wearing earlier. Rolled it into a ball. Oh, that's so cosy. Enough chatting from me, guys. I will see you in the morning. Good morning. I think it's 6 o'clock, 5:45 now. Had a little bit of rain in the night, not much, like showers, light showers. cargo pouch here. I always keep my hat on colder months, colder days, and it is cold today. I didn't actually bring any breakfast this morning because I knew I needed to get up and go. So I'm using some tea that a subscriber sent. Thank you to the subscriber. I haven't had tea in a while out in the woods. It's usually coffee. Makes a nice change to have some tea. I'm just packing the gear away as I'm doing this. I've only had a small fire. That's literally it now, the water's boiling. Made a little simple pot hanger just there with a beak notch. Used a little fork and a stick, flattened that off on that support stick, and that just hung there like that with there, the bottle hanger there. And that's just how I boiled the water, because it wouldn't have boiled straight away on the flames like that, on the coals, sorry, there was no coals. So making use of that early flame, like I say guys, make use of the early flame. There we go. Let's take that off. Let's take that off and let it. While my tea is brewing under there, I'm just gonna pack the tent away and basically leave no trace, as they say. So I'm gonna undo the tripod, take the tree roots off the tripod, place them on the ground, place the sticks of the tripod just out in the woods as I found them really, not leaving the construction up. So I've rolled up the ground sheet. Now look at the tent. I'll have to take this tent out when I get home because it's been wet. Canvas. But basically what I do, put it out like this. Best way to pack away any tent is pull it all out, stretch it out so you can get the shape of it, which is that. And then I halve it on itself. Again, pull out all the creases. Get rid of any muck on the top, especially if it's wet, because that's going to cause the mould. And then, hopefully you can see that, fold it in half again. Just mirroring itself basically. I fold the end in first to about the distance of that, which is there. Then fold any sides in so that it's squared off. Good thing about canvas is it does compress, although it's heavy. It doesn't retain the air like a tent would. And this is where you wrap everything nice and tight to begin with. There we go. That is the tent. Stopping knot at the end, or a jam knot, then a slip knot. You do a Canadian jam knot if you want, I've done that earlier. Wrap that around. Cinch it down, nice and tight. Then I wrap it on itself, and this is where I create my handle loop. So I do that, come back on itself, almost like a top. And then it's just a case of making a quick release loop. There's my carry handle, which I used obviously to hold the tent up as well on the tripod. There's my quick release loop, so I can pull that out, and I've got some paracord with me. Try to kick it out to one side. Thermarest mattress. Didn't bring a pillow, I used my jacket, remember? That goes down the side of the sleeping bag. Grill at the back. Gloves. Wash bag. Fire pouch, which I showed yesterday, last night. Cordage. Bushcraft knife. Try and get that down one of the sides without pushing it through the sheet and breaking it. Tinder pouch. Camera bag. Lenses. Then on the back here, that is it, head torch. Of which I need to reverse the battery so that I don't end up
running it out of battery like I have done so many times in the past. My journal, the back pocket, pretty much there now. Cool those rocks down and the ground around it. So bottle nesting kit, lid and bottle hanger in there, oilskin bag. It just about fits at the top with this bottle as well. I know, it's a lot of gear. It's a lot of gear. But the last one was a lightweight overnighter anyway. The one before, sorry, at the camp. So, sometimes it's nice to have a bit of a luxury overnighter. It's there. Now axe and saw went on the front. Lie the bag down. And the bottom strap's down here. This is where the tent was located. There we go. That is the pack. Now, they're nice and cold, so I'm going to take those back to where I found them in the woods. There you go. Leave no trace. Well guys, thanks so much for watching the episode, really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, if you're looking to set up a website, looking to get your brand out there, Squarespace is great for that. Do use that Squarespace discount code as it helps support me and the channel. Thanks so much guys, and I'll see you soon in the next episode.